Yeah,
Hello, I am
message.
Samra Iqbal, correspondent in DUBeat, and today I have Dr. Abha Dev Habib, an assistant professor of physics in Miranda House. Thank you so much, ma'am, for having us, for
Thank
having you
you.
today. Okay, so I would like to begin by asking you that how do you see the recent developments that happened in IPCW?
See, I find it very unfortunate. One, of course, the whole assault where, students are, male students and other students are trying to barge in. And that was one incident, and that had happened in Miranda House, a year ago. In fact, not a year ago, in October 2022, Diwali Mela. But what I find today most unfortunate is that when the students are protesting and women students are protesting, they feel that their space has been occupied, that they were molested, that the administration and the police has not taken enough steps. And also, they are basically their protest is towards the society, the people who try to barge in. Instead of extending support, instead of allowing that protest to happen, allowing that outrage to happen, um, the administration of the college and the police is diverting their energy in trying to stop this protest, in harassing women students, young women who are and they're being told that their parents will be called, or the college will inform their parents, and that they cannot they do this, and the police has been continuously detaining the protesters. I find that extremely objectionable, because if women are not even allowed to protest, this violence, then I do not know. I think in some sense the administration and the police have sided with those who have molested people, who have outraged the whole thing. I mean, the people have been felt molested, and people have been in some sense the administration is siding with them and is against the standing against the dissent.
So, as you mentioned, that there is an apathy in regards to the administration. So, we have seen that there is an irony in the deployment of police forces when it comes to, detaining people, and when it comes to, and meager deployment or almost no deployment of forces when it comes to providing protection to the people. So, how do you see this trend?
No, so I'm saying that this is very, very disturbing. This trend is very disturbing. And one thing is that, a short-sightedness of the administration in saying that, there will be too much people wanting to come into the college. These are first happening after a gap of 2 years, COVID period, when fests were not happening and all. And there is a hyperactivity in all colleges. All societies want to do functions. All societies want to have fests, and when the college is throwing open its gate to all, there is a sort of a huge rush. So the administration might be short-sightedness. There may be a short-sightedness, miscalculation on the part of the administration in trying to get police on time, or to have arrangements on time, or to rethink how these festivals should be held now. However, what is happening after, students are protesting that they were molested, that people barged into the IP college, that they raised slogans, and about the vulgarity of the whole thing. When they are protesting, to call police to detain them, I find that unacceptable and unfortunate. And this should not have happened. This cannot happen. While you can pardon the administration for the first part, I mean, of course we make mistakes, there is a miscalculation, but I cannot pardon the administration for the second what they are doing now. And instead of focusing, remaining, I mean, in the media, in everywhere, letting the focus on the way space was occupied, and to create an awareness, gender sensitization, which actually these protests can lead to. Okay, these protests are actually calling out to all student community to say that, women colleges cannot be closed down just because the society is such that women will be molested or something. You cannot force women to stay back home. You cannot close down doors on them and allow everybody to have a good day outside and tell women to stay in their houses. And what we are seeing is that if we have too much police or we start making these festivals as closed festivals, that is not an answer. The answer lies in gender sensitization. It lies in awareness of the people. And these protests are actually a call of that order. They are calling out to people to have that sensitivity. And unfortunate part is that the administration is seeing these protests against them. It is seeing these protests as, something against the college and is detaining students. So this is not something which is acceptable or which can be forgiven.
So, ma'am, we have seen this phenomenon is not new, and we have seen such instances happening in Miranda House also previously and Gargi also. So, why do you think such colleges, such women colleges in particular, becomes the epicenter, or why they are targeted of such violence? And how safe are these places for women when we compare it to the other co-ed colleges? Because it's a common
No,
perception,
yeah. So
that women.
I will start other way around. These colleges have served the nation. These are very safe places, and women really discover themselves. Many they feel empowered. They move forward, and Miranda House, IP, LSR, Kamla Nehru, Gargi, all these colleges have contributed immensely. If you will look at Miranda House, the number of women scientists it contributes is immense. And students feel safe. And it is only during this fest that there was this situation is happening in recent times. These situations have occurred. I have been at Miranda House first as ad hoc teacher in 2001 to 5, and then as a permanent. So in 23 years of service, it is only in Diwali Mela 2022 that I found that this kind of, the masculine behavior and entering the college and even disturbing the classes where they were happening, because it was just a Diwali Mela, classes were going on and the Mela was in one small place, that such a large number of people will come in and then also try to occupy, as if they're trying to occupy Miranda House, that I had never seen earlier. Yes, I had seen that during fest, during the, when we call some big singer or somebody, a star to the college. Yes, people want to come in and they want to enjoy. And there are cases of molestation and all even then. And that is not limited to women colleges. It will happen anywhere, because you are then treating women as a separate, colleges as a separate place. No, same men and women go to all fests, whether it is held at co-ed college or this. Only thing is that reporting and all of that. And in Miranda House, you will see, and in IP, the fact that women are feeling outraged that they're on the streets is because of their awareness. And in fact, that is also in some sense gives you an idea how empowered women feel in these colleges. And therefore, they are voicing it in the form of protest. So I see women colleges as very, very safe places. Yes, but I want to say that what is happening in colleges today has to be seen as a larger thing which is happening in the country, where we find a masculine behavior on rise, where we find a mob mentality on rise, where we find that the whole, questioning yourself, what is your domain, what is somebody else's domain, and do you have the right to do this? Or we are losing those questions. And there is in some sense a U-turn to, the issues of gender and all. Yes, they are in the curriculum. We have gender studies and all of that. But are we in daily lives, practicing them? And unfortunate part is that the government and the central government and the governments are failing. And why I'm saying is that if in Bilkis Banu case, 11 rapists will be freed, that's the message. Okay, so for as a woman activist, I find that as a as a problematic thing. In Kathua, when an 8-year-old Muslim girl is molested, raped, and it was so gruesome, we couldn't even read through the newspaper. We see that the whole shade is given a Hindu-Muslim thing, and there is a protest by the Hindu right-wingers there. And this has to be isolated from every Hindu. I'm not talking about every Hindu, but there is this thing in rise, and the justice does not prevail. Same thing has happened in Bilkis Banu. So there is this thing of that mob. In a mob, nobody gets caught, nobody gets punished. And this is what we have experienced in last so many cases, whether it was about women, whether it was about murders. And I think that is a problem. And it is because how the government, see, finally, there are all kinds of tendencies in the society. But it is because of the fear of law and order that most people work in a particular manner. That fear has to remain. If the justice delivery system, if the all of that will collapse, then this mob will be on rise. And today you are seeing at women colleges, this is true, all women colleges, because see, I mean, education, if you look at constitution, the forefathers saw education as the only possible way of transforming the society. And therefore, education was treated as public good. Okay. And women colleges, if you will talk about, are centers of the social transformation. And because you are questioning the social order, you are breaking free of the conditioning, you are creating something new. Sometimes societies feel very endangered about it. And right now, the right wing Hindutva element is finding it difficult to digest centers like JNU, which have brought social transformation, which talks about equity and has given space to students coming from marginalized sections. So you will see a systematic attack on JNU. In DU also, women institutions are seen as left, whereas they're not just left, they are questioning. And they are creating new order, which actually is the task of the education sector. And therefore, also, I think that there is an additional attack. And I see attack on Gargi and what all happened there. And again, reading newspapers, it was very difficult to visualize that people were raising such slogans or doing something like this or masturbating and so on and so forth, or at Miranda House and now in IP. And therefore, I feel that the protests which are going on right now by the women student, these protests are very important, because if women will not protest this, then the only order which can prevail and which will help the right-wing forces is that to shut down women in their houses. And this is not acceptable to us. This, for example, the whole movement of Pinjara Tod was a very important movement. It questioned hostel timings of women hostels vis-a-vis, giving the same arguments of security and all. Whereas we have experienced, but our experience is that the spaces will become more and more safe if women will inhabit that, if women will be out on the streets till late, women will be there when the lighting will be proper, and so on and so forth. So I think it is the entire, we have to look at these incidents in context of what is happening in the country today.
Yes, ma'am. So, with the advent of new education policy, there has been inclusion of subjects like value addition courses and skill enhancement courses and all of that. But we see there is a conscious exclusion of gender studies or gender sensitivity or even sex education in these courses. So, how do you think, how important are these courses in the light of what happened currently in IPCW?
See, I think that, when you're talking about NEP, and I hope many first-year students are listening to this interview, I see SEC and VAC very, very diluted courses, and which have neither added to the skill of the students nor added value. I do not know what value you can gain into our class, and which also the courses started only midway. Now, whether gender studies should be included in VAC or SEC, see, the whole idea of, there is a advertisement of skill enhancement course as if they will add to the skills which are marketable. So therefore, I do not know whether these are the proper places for gender studies, but gender studies is very important part of humanities, social science courses. And I think in depth, there are many topics which give space for discussions like this in literature or in this. So there should be a continuous discussion. Of course, there could have been on the gender issues, there could have been value added courses. So there could have been a value adding course on gender studies that could have been included, and I think the university should. But once again, what I'm saying is that yes, there are many places where we can study them, debate them, and you know that each college has WDC, Women Development Cell, and which also organizes large number of seminars, conferences. They call people to deliberate on important issues. It is not only that when we sit in the seminars or what we study in our coursework which transforms us. That is a very, very important part which transforms us. But how the machinery of the country is functioning, that becomes a very important thing, because finally you have to understand that what is your number of people coming to universities. It is still hovering around 25% of gross enrollment ratio is like that. So how many are reaching the universities? How many are reaching higher education? One has to understand that, to understand the transformation which the universities alone can bring. They are very important centers, but it is also in the way the government will conduct itself. The governments will conduct itself. The justice delivery systems will do. Okay, the learning is also in all of that. So I think it is the whole thing which we have to see. And yes, more courses can be added. I agree to that in value addition courses. But I don't see that as the only way forward.
So before we end this, is there anything else that you would like to tell us about the whole incident?
No, I just want to, through your program, express my solidarity to the resisting students. In fact, WDC units of all colleges should come together to think how to roll out gender sensitizing programs across the university. The university as such will have to, and I mean, not only students, but teachers and karamcharis and administration will have to respond to this crisis, because this is not going to be with just women colleges. It will spread to all. And even in co-ed colleges, I do not see that this will not happen there. Okay, either you open your gates, don't try to close the gates, let everybody come in. But are we prepared to have a space which can hold 5,000 people? Are we ready to have 20,000? And can we prevent things like stampede or any other tragedy which may just happen anywhere? So I think we all need to put together our minds how to take the gender sensitizing thing within the campus and outside. I think the WDC of all the colleges should come together to have outreach programs on this also. But my absolute solidarity with the protesting young women. And I think it is for us to protest. The solution does not lie in closing down the gates of the women colleges, or to have all programs only limited to the population inside. The whole idea is to bring a social transformation so that these gates can remain open, that women can walk on the streets fearlessly. And in this, I think the government needs to hear what people are saying, and government needs to be more sensitive. If rapists will walk free, there is no way of preventing all of this.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sparing your time and talking with us.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.